Yes!
Achievement diary completed.
What's going on, everyone? And I'm sure you're wondering what this is all for. For me, it took 86 days of playtime over several years to achieve what you just saw in the last minute. And to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what I want to do next, but I do have a few goals in mind, and I'd like for you to help guide this account along the way. Let's go over a brief set of basics. I'm Titus. I've been playing RuneScape for over 20 years since the RS Classic days. Yeah, those classic days. And I managed to play a touch of RS Classic before RS2 came out, what is OSRS or 2007 Scape now. And back into the 2000s, until today still, I've never played a main account. Never focused on one, no real skilling, some quest here or there, but it was just all about PK. All I ever played were loads of different pures. And when I eventually came back, well, I got right back into that same PKing scene. Eventually made another account just to work on things that I'd never done before. I started off with just doing quests, leveling up this character, and I had no idea what I really wanted to do with it at all. It was just kind of some spare time. Eventually I came across a goal on Reddit, and it really caught my interest. The lowest possible combat quest point came, at 85 combat. It was a somewhat difficult enough challenge that I wanted to tackle. And I did it. At just 85 combat, I obtained a cape that was impressive for my combat level, and plenty of people, they just never bother getting the damn thing. But while that was cool and the account was neat in and of itself, it wasn't enough, and I didn't just build this account to stand at a bank forever. Once again, I've never played a main, so with all the quests completed, I had to really ask myself, what do I do next? Do I just go straight for the main? Do I start leveling? Should I give myself another challenge? Well, right there in the character summary, the natural progression just moves right over to the right, and that's with the achievements. So I started my research, found out some different parameters, stumbled on a few different posts, Reddit and such, and some people had completed the same thing. There's very few and far in between because it just seems kind of silly, and most people I'm sure just never consider it. But for myself, challenge accepted. 100 combat lowest level achievement cape diary possible. It was a very insanely lengthy grind for myself. It took several years with the kind of schedule I had. But you just saw the clip. I've done it. It's finally done, and it feels great to accomplish something like that. There were plenty of terrible grinds in between, but I kept myself as entertained as possible. I set out to complete a few different tiers of combat achievements that would help me, like adding more cannonballs to my cannon, for example. And I got to do a little bossing in between for those combat achievements, and just kind of decided to make a run for the music cape as a mid-tier goal. So I completed all that, and that now leads us to where we are here. I'm currently 100 combat. I've got a 2,000 total level. I did that on purpose because I'm an even numbers kind of guy, and right now I've got these combat stats on screen. I'm further into RuneScape than I ever have been before. It hasn't been quick progression, but over time I've built this insane, to me at least, account, and once again, just 3 days after completing this goal, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I didn't just build this account to bank stand. Again, in natural progression, looking at the character summary, there's one big thing staring at me. And listen, I'm no settled, but with enough practice, patience, and guidance along the way, I know I can build myself up to get on that level. But I'm also dying for something else. I've always PK'd on a pure, and frankly, since coming back to OSRS, my PK skills, well, I'm not 15 anymore. And the game has advanced a lot since then. In the same vein as being PVM worthy, I don't expect to be the next Dota block, but I'd like to be able to put up a respectable fight at least by his standards. So there's not my one but two new goals. I want to turn this account into a max med PKer and a raid phenomenon. Along the way, I want to tackle each tier of the combat tasks and eventually an Inferno completion with Grandmaster achievements. Let me know. The Inferno and Grandmaster are two completely different goals versus the two I've set out right now in front of me. Those are quite some way down my timeline, but in the meantime, I want at least this. A, become a max med PKer. That's going to include obtaining 114 combat with these stats and learning how to not be shit at PKing. That's just two includes, but there's so much involved in that, particularly that second point. And then B, I want to be a main account PVMer, which includes being able to solo complete every raid and activity, getting all my combat tasks up to master at least for now, and getting on the high scores for every boss minus suck. Along with that, I also want to get a 2100 total level. Now here's where I'd like to get you involved. I'll be polling all the viewers throughout the week on which content I should attempt for the following videos. After I upload this one, the new poll will go live on my profile, and in the meantime, I'll just be tackling some of the easier combat achievements and random skilling when I can. My ultimate goal in the series is to not only learn all of this myself, but also help others learn it as well. If there's any content you haven't tackled and it's in the poll, give it a vote and we'll try to learn it together. With all that being said, we'll go ahead and cut it here, and I look forward to seeing everybody again soon.
Bye!